Taylor Swift, I think, is a perfect example because of the fact that I don't feel that she is lyrically substantial in any way, shape, or form.
Hey guys, so I forgot to film an intro, so I'll do this voiceover now. About 2 weeks ago, I asked you on my Instagram and on the community tab to give me some of your music-related hot takes. And today, me and my friends are going to be reacting to them. I also forgot to introduce all of them, so Giordano is this guy right here. This guy's name is Andrew, and then Terry is sitting next to Giordano off camera. And I made a little cartoon character for him. And yeah, sit back, relax. This is going to be more of a long-form, unedited conversation type video. Kind of like a podcast, so, you know, if you're doing homework, something like that, just chill. And please, please, please let me know what you think about some of the topics we talk about in the comments below. And next week, we'll be back to formula with another album reaction video, so I'll see you then. Did you guys prepare hot takes that you want to give?
I did. So my first hot take that I wanted to talk about was that there won't be music idols how there were like 7 to 10 years ago, because I feel like fame has kind of been spread super thin. Kanye, Jay-Z, Beyonce, like they were seen as revolutionary.
There can't be like another King of Pop.
Yeah,
type shit.
kind of like that.
I think I agree with that. You know? I definitely feel like we've hit like a ceiling as far as like idolizing artists.
Yeah.
You're never gonna have another like Taylor Swift level.
Nah.
You know,
like people can come close and like people want to make their comparisons. Like I've heard people comparing SZA to Beyonce, which is like, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know about all that.
I like SZA's stuff.
Like she's cool and she's like really popular now, and her music's fucking fire. But
it is possible for an opinion to be wrong. And I think that's a pretty clear. Like, I'm gonna use Beyonce as an example. At the time, it's like, how much did you really know about her outside of her music? And now we have artists.
Everything about an artist.
Now it's like artists are no longer just music artists. They have so many different pieces of their brand.
Jennie from Blackpink, right? Okay. I saw Instagram posts from like fan accounts saying
Jennie hasn't posted on Instagram in like 5 days. Where is she? I hope she's okay.
Like that's delusion.
But that's just like the level that it's gotten to when it comes to
just like
social media, and you know what I mean.
How much more involved you are with like artists, you know?
Yeah. Now that social media allows you like a window inside to an artist's like day-to-day lives, if you think as a fan that you know them better, which in turn makes you almost like more of a fan.
And you want to defend them.
Yeah, exactly. You feel like more personal connection to them.
I have a hot take.
Go ahead.
I think social media ruined music, specifically TikTok. It's not that TikTok as a platform is reducing the quality of the music that's being released. It's just that because of how artists understand that TikTok can blow them up and that you don't even really need to be an artist to blow up. You can just figure out what the relevant sound is.
I think it is kind of a double-edged sword in some ways. I think it's cool that now more people can get an audience for their music.
That's what I would
even if it's like a small, like it's definitely easier to make it as an artist today than it was say 10 years ago. But at the same time, I think, you know, if you think about like the majority of TikTok users, probably like 13, 14 years old.
Where they should be at least.
Like, think about the music you listened to when you were 13, 14. Would you constitute that as like good music to your standards now? So I feel like it's sort of it's like a new standard of what is considered like good music.
Yeah.
Right.
And then also you have like the TikTok trend, like you were saying, where it's like, you know, songs like people make songs like, you know, that Drake song was something slide, where it's like right foot,
Juicy slide.
Like songs like that are like so clearly making a snippet so that it can go viral on TikTok.
Ear candy. It's like eating a bag of chips as opposed to having a good like quality meal that you cooked yourself.
I mean, sometimes a bag of Doritos do be hidden.
Exactly.
But you don't want only Doritos.
Exactly. And then you eat a full bag of it and you're like, you want to throw up.
Giordano, you want to add anything?
Like I don't even have TikTok. I don't use social media really, right?
But
like,
that's an important perspective.
I have heard the 2C slide a lot.
I gathered up some hot takes from my viewers and Instagram.
Oh god.
I sorted through them because a lot of them were obviously Taylor Swift related, since like 90% of my audience is Swifties. And I just picked out ones that I feel like could start some conversation. The first one is from our boy Isaiah.
No way.
IMAC. Now you guys don't know IMAC, okay? This man has some of the most rambunctious takes, right? Just sometimes I feel like he's just saying stuff just to say things, just to fill silence, right?
Madman.
The take we have here, but I don't know how you guys are gonna feel about this one though. The take we have here is pop music is the worst genre right now, and it's not close.
So broad,
yeah.
That sounds like an IMAC take.
I mean, I'll keep it short. Obviously, you guys know pop music is my favorite genre, so I feel personal offense to this one, but I feel like pop music is the only genre
Yeah.
that incorporates a little bit of everything. Like,
I think R&B kind of does that too, though.
but like, yeah, okay, I
Let
guess
him
that's
cook.
true.
No,
But the point that I'm trying to get across is like when you look at pop artists, it's never just pop. Like I kind of struggle to figure out what just pop is. It's always pop with R&B influence, like The Weeknd. Pop with, you know, like you look at like an artist like Doja Cat makes pop music, but there's some hip hop influence.
What about
things like that?
Taylor Swift is like pop, country pop.
Country pop, you know.
And
Sometimes.
then like Ariana Grande is what pop and what else?
She has like some R&B in there.
Some R&B though.
But that's kind of the idea, right? Is when you look at a pop record, I feel like that's one of the like the main instances where you could have an R&B feel song, then you can have like a little more of a hip hop beat, and you can have like a slower piano ballad. You know, like I feel like there's a lot to the table that brings to the table. There's definitely pop music that is kind of shallow and is kind of basic. That's not that personally. That's not the pop music I like. But the good pop music I think is good, and the criticisms that you can give that, I feel like you could give the same criticisms to something like country.
Yeah.
It's like if it's shallow, country music is also shallow.
Yeah.
Right.
So
that's how I feel.
Yeah. I mean, it's also like based off what Onyx is saying that it's like the worst.
Yeah. And well, he said it's worse and it's not close. Like we know he's
Obviously
he's
exaggerating, but like I can never look at like a genre.
Where do you draw the line?
Pop
You know what
isn't
I mean?
even a genre.
Yeah.
By definition,
It's just what's popular.
Pop literally means popular music.
Yeah.
So top
So that's
40.
Yeah,
It's
which
tough,
is kind of like, it's not a genre. Like, I feel like if you were to play, like, bubblegum, for most people, they would say that that's pop because they immediately associate pop with, look, it's 2023, do what you want, but bubblegum is mostly associated with feminine energy. So and I would consider the biggest pop artists in the world are female. Like, your Taylor Swifts, your Ariana Grandes, your O-Rods, your...
a female.
No, not a female. Does he make pop music?
He does, but it's like you listen to it, bro. There's some guitars in there.
He's like indie
he
pop.
goes in, you know. It's very indie.
Alt pop.
Yeah.
There's also
Yeah.
alt pop, which is like taking the popular sound and then kind of like adding an element that's not popular. This is a very general idea, but why is it so easy to distinguish between movies, books, TV shows, video games? Why are those genres so clearly defined, but with music it's so hard to pin down what a genre even is? We all know what a horror movie is, we all know what an action movie is, we all know what a drama is, but why is it so difficult to even nail down the definition of what a genre is?
However you feel about the movie is how, or at least however the director is trying to make you feel. That's kind of how you can define the movie. Like a drama is going to make you feel emotional. A horror movie is going to make you feel scared. Music just feels way more fluid. Music feels way more on the cuff.
I do feel like there are very specific indicators of what makes a horror movie. If a horror movie has jump scares, right?
Yeah.
It's a horror movie. If a comedy has Paul Rudd, it's a comedy. You know what I mean, right? So, but when it comes to music, it's like defining characteristics are not as clear. It's like all songs have drums. All songs can have a guitar. You know what I mean? It's more about the delivery, right?
So it's defining it.
Whereas, like, you're not gonna see jokes in a horror movie, or you're not gonna see jump scares. Well, I mean, you might, but like, you get what I mean.
But it's not the main focus.
Yeah. I guess we'll move on to the next one, which is a song's composition, and in parentheses, melodies, instrumentation, is far more important than the lyrics.
Yeah, I agree with that.
When I saw this one, I thought that it depends as well, but then I'm also like, no one reads poetry, right? I mean, like people do, but like who reads? Oh, my bad,
like,
Terry. Okay,
Literature.
okay. Let me get to my point.
Actually,
People only care about the lyrics because the melody is there.
Yeah.
Without the instrumentation, without the melodies, it's just a poem. You know what I mean?
For me, like I feel like when I was younger, I needed to really connect to the lyrics, and I also really to just like how the lyrics sounded. But then that kind of relates back to production.
Yeah.
So I think they're both just as important.
I mean, if I'm being honest, it's definitely not something that I'm like conscious about.
Yeah.
Like if I like a song, I'll figure out that I like it first, and then maybe I'll dissect why do I like it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's like, you know, I listen to different songs for different reasons. That's everyone. So I don't know if you guys want to add anything.
okay, another good example, Freestyle 4 by Kanye West. I miss the old Kanye.
Yeah,
Like,
there's nothing.
people know that is locked into people's minds because of how iconic it is. There is not a single sound on that song except for Kanye's voice.
But to add to that, I think part of the reason that does stand out is because it's straying away from that. It is harder to make good music today than it was back in the 80s and 90s.
What does that even mean?
I don't know.
They said it's harder to make good music today.
Yeah. I mean, on one hand, it's like because more things have been done, it's harder to push the boundaries. But
Sure.
I don't know. I feel like
you could argue that.
Yeah, but it's...
Go back to the TikTok conversation.
Yeah, and then it's also like in the 80s and 90s, they were pushing boundaries.
Yeah,
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
But for
so
them,
I feel like if anything...
I'll take.
What's their name? Do you have their...
No. I kept it ambiguous. I
Alright, well,
don't
you
want
know-
to roast
you know
anybody
who
with
the
a bad
fuck-
joke.
Yeah, you know who you are. That shit sucked.
Breakup songs are all the same and boring.
Igor. That entire album is a
So
breakup
good.
album,
Yeah.
and it's like,
it
so.
plays like a play, bro.
It's so effective. You never listen to Igor? Damn, bro. Tyler the Creator video next.
You better make
video.
that. You better make that Tyler video.
Yeah,
bro.
Tyler video next.
You better make
Kanye,
that Tyler
Kanye, and Tyler have a connective thread.
Well, what I would say is I do think a lot, it is a little repetitive because they're, like in the pop scene, it's like the most popular thing to talk about, right? And in my personal opinion, I think that the reason that is the case in my life experiences, the most emotional I've ever gotten was during a heartbreak, right? Or a breakup, right? I think breakup and heartbreak tends to bring a different side out of you that feels more emotional, right?
Yeah.
And it's just about the artist kind of connecting with that. It's the easiest for them to write about because they're in the most emotional state when that is the case. But I do agree, a lot of breakup songs hit the same notes.
Yeah.
But it's all about perspective, right? If you go in expecting it to be this like the others, then you're gonna see it like the others. But if you go into guts, just for listening to it for what it is, then it's
I think like also just some artists just make whole careers
Based on breakup songs.
Yeah, based on breakup songs. Based
that's
on
how Taylor Swift
heartbreak.
became famous, man. Let's be real.
I was gonna say it.
I love Giveon. Right. I love that man. His voice is so good. But every album is about the same
SZA has the same issue.
thing, yo.
I also do think a lot of the heartbreak songs, it's like if you can relate to it,
Yeah.
then that's
and
when it's gonna
everyone
hit.
can, everyone can
Yeah.
kind of relate to it.
Yeah.
If you've never been broken up with, I feel like there's a level of connection there that you won't have. If you look at breakup songs in pop music, of course it's going to be like Taylor Swift. I think is a perfect example of saying the same shit over and over again. And
And that was a hot take right there.
for
just
your
see that-
channel,
you just see that
we'll get
slip
into it. There's a
Yeah.
tape later that we can get into.
Um,
At the end of the day, there's only so many words you can use.
Yeah,
You know? Like people don't get mad when someone
so
says
many,
love.
so many
You know what I mean?
metaphors. So many
Yeah,
metaphors.
so only
you
so
can
many
use.
metaphors. So what it really does come down to is just what it means to the artist, I think.
Yeah.
Is like, you might be saying the same things as Taylor Swift said or an artist before you said, but it has new meaning because you're the one saying it.
Yeah.
People don't understand that you can like a song / a person's music without supporting / liking them, which is kind of just like the whole separating the art from the artist conversation.
So like,
I have my thoughts. I don't know if you guys want to.
Yeah, because like you've been listening to Kanye recently.
Yeah, and
I'm assuming you don't support.
yeah, of course not.
I saw the disclaimer that you
Yeah,
wrote
so
on
I
Discord.
wrote up this disclaimer for my video. I
perfect.
shared it with them because I want to make sure I say it right, without making it seem like I support it, but also like
But like we
I'm
can't,
trying to even right now,
bro,
when
we
you listen to his
can't
music.
take away from his musical genius just because
Yeah,
he's
exactly.
having a mental breakdown.
So
Like that's unfair. I think
the metaphor that I gave is, let's say I had a middle school bully, right? And he has some sick ass handwriting. And I'm like, you know what, dude, you have good handwriting, right? That doesn't mean I'm cool with him bullying me.
I would cut this from the video because
No
I
one-
feel like some people would be like, "Oh, you're comparing anti-Semitism to," you know what I mean? I could see how the
Oh,
claim is.
yeah. Okay, no, that's true.
Because with that metaphor, you're reducing Kanye's actions to the actions of a middle school bully.
That's true.
I would,
That's a good point.
I would
Okay.
completely cut that from the
Or
video.
I'll leave what you said in. One of the two.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
my point is, I don't think anyone is below receiving a compliment.
Yeah,
Sometimes that's as much as it is. It's just, you did this good. You know?
That's it.
exactly.
Yeah.
When we're looking at somebody, especially a music artist, right? Like, okay, here's a good example. R. Kelly. We all know what R. Kelly did. What was Alia's first album? Fucking Age Ain't Nothing But a Number. You can't separate that art from the artist because the things that the artist is doing that are bad is reflected directly in the work.
Like, let's look at like the Adam Levine situation, right? How he like cheated on his wife, and he's kind of. We all know he's kind of a weirdo.
I forgot. I knew he was a
What he
weirdo.
say? What he say in a DM? He was
Yeah,
like, "Holy
yeah.
fucking moly!"
Holy fucking fuck! That body of yours is absurd. Like, who talks like that, bro? I didn't even think about stopping listening to Maroon 5 when that happened, right?
Yeah.
Granted, it's not as serious. I mean, I don't want to say it's not as
It's
serious.
not as serious.
It's apples and oranges, but it's like a really bad apple and like a pretty bad orange. You know what I mean?
Or the Travis Scott Astrofest situation. People
Yeah.
are boycotting his music. There's a whole subreddit called Fuck Travis Scott. Did anybody not listen to Utopia? But he might rap about it. He might make his black and white selfie apology video. But like,
I hate that video so much, dude.
guys, we really have to talk about something serious. All black and white.
I'm really. Yeah, I mean, it really is case by case because every instance is different.
Yeah.
Okay, Taylor Swift's music is mid and overrated.
Yep.
Overrated.
Yep. I would. I'm really glad that we brought this up.
Wow.
I think that there's a level to it where she was definitely at her peak. I like Red, bro.
Red is
I
a
like
banger.
Midnights.
Red is a banger.
I'm not saying she's not a good artist, but I saw this video of her performing live today that I really wanted to show you, where she bangs a pole off beat.
Well, let me give my side then.
Give your
right?
side.
I think when it comes to life, right?
We bringing it back.
I'm getting profound. We're zooming out.
Let's go to human nature.
When it comes to life, right? If someone sees people obsessed about something,
I found the video.
right?
Yeah.
And they don't get it at the surface, they already don't really like it. That's kind of like, I feel like that's how life is, right? So it's kind of this never-ending back and forth because the more Swifties are obsessed with Taylor Swift, the more non-Swifties are like not getting it and therefore, kind of making fun of Swifties. And the more Swifties get made fun of, the more Swifties are going to get more defensive. And it just keeps building that stigma. But when you break it down, remove Swifties from the equation, remove everyone from the equation, I think I've always said this. I think Taylor Swift does what she does well, right?
Okay.
I think if she's setting out to make heartbreak songs that, connect with her and connect with her audience, she's succeeding clearly, right? And I think it's fair to say, well, 10 albums, she kind of does the same trick. She writes the same heartbreak songs in the same way. I think that's a totally fair criticism. I don't know. She doesn't. Also, I do want to clarify. She doesn't just write heartbreak songs. Those are just the ones that are popular.
Yeah.
So people assume that is the case because they only know the popular ones.
Okay.
"Shake It Off" is her most popular song, right? We can
That shit
agree
hard.
that- I hate that song.
Shit hard as fuck. That's like her.
I hate that song. But people look at her popular songs because those are the only ones that they know, and they assume that that's all she does. It's not true. She has 2 albums where she writes folk music. You didn't listen to any of those. You know what I mean?
Any album.
I like Midnights a lot because it's very it's a very driving album. It's very high energy. It's very like, I'm a boss bitch. I like that shit, right? Like, give me more confidence. Folklore felt very reserved, more vocal, tied it like more reserved, and like I'm just not really with that side of her.
I mean,
because of the fact that I don't feel that she is lyrically substantial in any way, shape, or form. I just don't, bro. You could compare her. Who could you compare her to lyrically? Like, okay,
no one, because
she's on another level.
Okay,
Lyrically?
let me tie this back,
Yeah.
right?
Wait, I found the video.
I
found the video.
Okay,
Can I just for the camera?
listen, she's tired. Okay,
She's
I
trying
can,
her
also, I
best
can
out
tell.
there.
also, that's 2014.
It's that old.
Yeah, because that's not what she looks like now.
That ass.
Yeah,
What's
but what
that
I was
shit?
saying is, Taylor Swift writes pop lyrics.
Right.
Perfect. No one does it like her. Right.
Okay.
That's what I'll say. I'm not gonna lie. She has a few corny lyrics that I'm not a big fan of, but when you look at, I've had you listen to All Too Well 10-minute version before, right?
I actually do like that song.
Yeah, that song
I-
is a good song,
Yeah.
right? I think she just does lyrics in a different way than you might be used to, but
It's
I think
very metaphorical. I'm trying to elaborate on this in the best way that I can. Like, it never. Okay, I'm reading through All Too Well right now
Yeah.
because I did like that song. The one that
Call Me Up Again just to break me like a promise.
Right.
Right. No,
That's
not-
actually kind of hard. I fuck with
Yeah.
that. Break Me Like a Promise.
Yeah, it's
What is that,
like a
metanym?
double meaning, right? Being casually cruel in the name of being honest. That's a motherfucker that's like, I'm just an honest guy.
Yeah, no,
You
no,
know,
I get
you're
it. I
fucking
get it.
ugly as fuck. But I'm just being honest. You know what I mean?
It could be that.
So that's what I think she was trying to say. So it's like the lyrics are like, they're not like mindfuck lyrics, right?
Yeah.
That's never what she does.
I feel like I'm gonna get hate comments. The guy off camera's a piece of shit.
Such a
But
bitch,
it's okay.
bro.
It's okay.
Yeah, I'll respond. I'll be in that shit. Hey,
I mean, I also
so-
think my
Fight for your life.
my
Fight for
audience
your
my
life.
audience will understand that you don't have too much malicious intent. But I think, yeah, like I said, it's not mindfuck lyrics, but it's the type of lyrics that when you read it and you hold on to one, and you're like, oh shoot, you relate to it, right? So it's not like she uses the fancy words. Even her metaphors are pretty simple, but I think it's just the consistency of how she does it.
I will give her that. Like the fact that she can keep pretty unique metaphors going for a 10-minute long song at 6 minutes. Wait, I thought
10
there was a
10-minute long.
This one's 6 minutes long. Is
That
this the
might-
wrong
that might be
version?
the-
10-minute version. Here we go. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is the one that I listened to because
Yeah.
this shit was a slog.
Slapper.
In a good, it's a slog in a good way. Like it's like holy shit, she's.
You know, I know all the words to that song.
Like,
I don't doubt that for a second. When I listen to Taylor Swift, I feel like she lives her life in a car commercial. Everything is so glorified and optimistic, and at the same time,
kind of?
yeah, like
or it's romanticized.
yeah, it's everything is romanticized. There's nothing like gritty about, and I get that's not the point.
Yeah.
I get that that's not the point. Me personally, are you listening to the Swifties? Me personally, it's just not real enough for me.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing, right? Is like, I don't know, like on the internet, so many people are like, they have to explain it, right? If you don't get it, then you're wrong, right? That's what it is. Sometimes it's just not for you,
Yeah.
right? I feel like you understand why she's popular.
Yeah, and I listened to 2 of her albums
Yeah.
fully.
Yeah.
Like, I think I did
not gonna-
most then, and I'm still a Taylor Swift
Yeah.
hater. I think that I still did most than what most haters would do. They wouldn't even give the music a chance.
Yeah, exactly.
I gave it 3 hours of my life.
I just think,
Can never get that back.
like, I will never I'll never argue with someone that just doesn't like her music.
Yeah.
But the problem arises when you have hate for her.
Yeah.
When you don't even know
People just shit on
anything
her
about
because
it.
she's
Yeah,
popular.
because she's popular,
Yeah.
right?
Like
Sure.
I don't listen to Taylor Swift.
Yeah, but I don't consider you like
and I don't like I'm not a hater.
Yeah.
Like I don't consider myself a hater. Like the only thing I criticize is just how aggressive her fans can be, but that's like
Her fans are the worst part of her.
all fan bases. I feel like
yeah,
that's
no,
all
that,
fan bases.
it's all fan bases. She just has a huge.
I listen
fan
to
base.
Cardi. Cardi fans suck.
Cardi fans are awful.
Cardi fans
Cardi
Oakland
fans are-
are horrible.
She like I said, I've been reiterating every time. She's just good at what she does,
Yeah.
right?
And I
take that away
can
from her.
respect it
Yeah.
for that, but you know.
And she's a philanthropist. I'll give her that. As a person, she is extremely generous with her wealth, and that's. I don't know. I mean, obviously, philanthropy is not like what's going to be the most prominent news. I'm sure there's people donating billions of dollars every day to foundations that are, whatever. But she gave like everybody who worked on the Eras Tour $100,000 like out of her own pocket, and I
Yeah.
can definitely respect that. That's showing love to the people who work for you.
I honestly like we were saying about parasocial relationships is like you never really know someone, on the industry. We don't know her, but I do get the sense that she's a good person.
Would you meet her if you had the opportunity?
If
Would you meet her in real
Would you
life?
want
Yeah.
to meet her?
Yeah.
yeah.
I would
But
not
it's
want to
also-
meet
But
Cardi, Ken,
But,
Lo.
okay,
I don't
but
wanna
what I
meet-
will
I don't
say
wanna-
is, in light of like more recent years,
Cardi.
where more and more artists that I like or actors that I like come out with assault cases, cheating scandals, I keep everyone at like an arm's length. Even Taylor Swift, my favorite artist to listen to right now, I still, and I'm like a Swiftie, I still like if something came out about her tomorrow, I'll sleep fine. Because I'm never like a diehard fan.
It's not gonna
for
affect
anyone
your
because I just
day
keep
to
everyone on.
Bro, I see your commenters. Like, you're not like that.
Yeah.
I can see where you're like, okay, like, wow. Like,
But it's not even from a position of like judging people that get into it like a lot. It's really just me keeping myself safe because I don't want to develop any parasocial relationship with someone and then them do something and then it's like I feel like shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The Taylor Swift movie came out today in theaters. I ain't get a ticket.
There was
Partially because I don't
there
have
was a
anyone to go
movie?
with, but
he's like, I ain't get a ticket.
I didn't get a ticket.
I'm fine. I want to see it. I'm good, guys. I'm good.
I totally didn't want to see the fucking thing release.
Yeah, it's like a concert movie.
Oh, okay.
Pre-sale
so,
tickets. Pre-sale
circus
tickets outsold. I believe it was Infinity War. So she's
Outsold?
outsold Infinity War pre-sale tickets.
We gotta
Like that's you gotta respect it. You know what I mean?
You gotta put
like damn,
like
bro.
with Drake. I don't listen to Drake consistently. Like I have a couple of songs I've liked, but like I respect how big he is. And like, because like that just doesn't happen to nobody. You know? It
Exactly.
doesn't happen
There's a
to-
reason. The next one is only 3 words. popularity means nothing. Which kind of...
What does that even mean? What does that even mean?
Okay, you know what it means,
I don't know what it means.
Like,
I'm not being argumentative.
No,
I genuinely don't know what
with
they mean by
I
that.
disagree with
yeah, I disagree with it too. It's really popular to like not like popular things, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like if there was some way to objectively say if music is good or bad, right? It's impossible. Music's
There
completely
isn't.
subjective.
Yeah.
But if there were, you would look to popularity. And I feel like every artist probably wants their song to be popular, right? I mean, that's just my assumption, right? I mean, you never know. But
some people,
like,
some
how
people
else
do just
would you?
make
How
music
else would
for
you?
the fans.
How? Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
underground
true.
artists like
But it's
Suicide
like,
Boys.
but even
Yeah,
that
never
is
wanted to
technically
blow
you
up.
want it to be popular within your fan base. Then.
Yeah, there's still
You know what I mean?
a level to it.
So it's like you
Yeah.
want it to be liked.
Yeah.
So I feel like if there was there's this very famous clip. I hate to bring it back to Taylor Swift. There's this very famous clip of Taylor Swift, talking about why she cares about the Grammys, because it's a way of, it's her way of scoring herself, right?
Okay.
Which like, I think the Grammys are corrupt personally.
Yeah,
I don't think that's a great example, but I do get the sense of an artist grading themselves based off reception.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Travis
Awards.
Scott took not getting Astroworld as like he didn't get the Grammy for Astroworld
when he lost Cardi B.
Exactly. Like he took that shit personally. He walked out of the Grammys and he was pissed. If you watch Look Mom I Can Fly, you see all of that. Kendrick Lamar losing to Macklemore.
Yeah.
I mean, Macklemore apologized
so
for it.
there's no
Like
that so
Macklemore
much.
texted him and said,
Yo,
"Bro,
you
what
got
the
robbed, bro. I'm sorry." But yeah, to sum up that point, I think it does mean something. That doesn't mean that unpopular songs are bad, obviously.
No.
It could also mean that some popular songs are kind of shit. But it's like, it still means something.
Yeah, but I think what they mean is like, obviously the popularity doesn't show like substance.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean.
It doesn't always mean.
But there's no subjective way to say what's good and bad.
Yeah.
You know, so.
I think everything's going to be popular for a reason, even if that reason is stupid.
Or like one of those songs, and it actually sounded like alien talk.
All right, here's one. I'd rather go deaf than listen to country music.
Yep.
Only country music? Yeah.
No, just listen to it.
No,
Just like once.
whatever.
Kenny Chesney's not bad.
I don't know what counts as country music these
Kid G.
days. Because like my favorite song right now is Stick Season, but like, is that country music? Kind of, right? There's a banjo in the bridge. I don't know. And she promised me to do more than all the miles combined. You must have.
That sounds more folk.
Yeah, maybe. But like, you know the type of country music where they talk about like tractors and stuff? Like the Ethan Chris.
I got the cows and the horses in the back.
I do like some old Carrie Underwood songs, I'm not gonna lie. Like here and there, but I feel like I always underestimate country music, 'cause I feel like, you know, in our friend group and just in general, a lot of people kind of don't really like, or like don't think much of it.
We live
right?
across New York. We're like the
Yeah.
furthest.
Like,
away.
exactly. I have a cousin that lives in rural Pennsylvania. What the fuck do you think he's listening to Cardi? Like,
If I lived in rural Pennsylvania, I'd want to put some kind of energy into my life.
think about the psychology.
So like my point of bringing that across is like, you know, we don't really think about country music, we don't really listen to it, but I had an idea, like probably won't have time to do it now, but I had the idea to have you guys guess the Billboard, like, you know, chart rankings just for like a fun segment. And number one for like the past year has been a Morgan Wallen album.
I don't know who that is.
He's just like a country singer. It's just like, because like, yeah, no, Chris
I'm not gonna argue.
but it's just funny because like you think like the most popular artist right now, you wouldn't think Morgan
Yeah.
Wallen, but the numbers don't lie. You know, that many people are listening to Morgan Wallen in like the U.S., so it's just interesting.
But that's kind of just also like everyone's in their own bubble, and
Yeah,
everyone
yep.
thinks that their bubble is bigger than what it actually is. You know, like
Texas is a big state. I bet
Yeah.
they all love Morgan
oh,
Wallen.
they love more down in fucking Texas.
Any song is likable if you listen to it enough. We only have one more after this one.
Facts.
I don't know if you listen to it enough.
Facts. I love that. That's the best take that I've heard today.
I don't know about that.
Because if you are willing to put yourself through something enough times to the point where the parts that bother you don't bother you anymore, like it's acclamation. I'm not saying that this is not an ideal circumstance. This is not something that you're gonna do for fun.
I agree with Terry. I think
Yeah.
it, like so much of like whether or not you like music is about your perspective going into it. And some songs will appeal to you, and some songs is like, it's just like drilling. If you consistently shove it down your gullet over and over again, eventually it's not gonna be torture.
Right.
You know what I mean?
What is...
Like, I was enjoying Midnights more near the end than I did at the
Yeah.
start, because at that point I had already been listening to Taylor
Yeah,
Swift
and
for
you're-
a full 50 fucking minutes.
And your expectations have adjusted.
Exactly.
Right?
It was the same thing with Guts, because when I started All American Bitch, I'm like, okay.
I didn't know that. I didn't know it was from a Drake song though.
Yeah.
Yeah, you will?
From
Let me know what you think.
City.
Okay, so
professional,
this
yeah.
one is... It's kind of vague, but nowadays an artist persona does more to draw listeners than the music they
Aesthetic.
make. So take Drake, for example. Let's say he releases like a mid-album, right? Do you think that people are going to be more swayed to like it because it's Drake? I mean, obviously it's subjective, but
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's Drake
100%.
defenders the same way that there are people who will
Swifties.
die for Taylor Swift. There are
Sure.
people who are like, there's people who are like, Drake never misses.
I'll die on my hill with Kendrick. I don't give a fuck.
I'll down my hoe for Cardi.
Like, I don't listen to Drake, so I don't really know, but he releases like an album a year, right?
Yeah,
So like someone like that versus someone like Kendrick Lamar that releases every
like a few years.
few years.
Mm.
You know, do
I
you
don't
think
lose
that's-
respect, but like you do notice it in the quality.
You go in knowing what to expect. If an artist is releasing albums once a year, then obviously they're not putting as much time in as if they would release it every 5 years. So it's like when
just
you go
math.
in. That's why I don't have a problem with Drake. Like, I feel like most of the people who don't like Drake now are because they did like Drake back in the day, and like now it's like new Drake versus
Yeah.
old Drake.
I'm more
Sure.
like I just never.
You just
listened to
never
Drake.
really tapped in.
Yeah. So.
But like,
Samesies.
there is, bro, like 2009. It's a condition. It's
Yeah,
really
I
it's a
think
condition.
it's like genetic. I
Yeah.
don't even know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess we kind of answered that one. So that's the last take. All right, we don't have to do an outro. Let's just shrug.